What happens when you don't trust the dealer where you purchased your RV?
I cannot warn people enough to steer clear of them.
Darren tells his story next. Welcome to the channel. I'm Liz. I have been doing a bunch of videos about the good and bad of the RV industry, highlighting both manufacturers and dealers that are doing it right, and some that could use a little bit of improvement. Darren purchased his Riverstone from his local dealer in Kansas City, Unlimited RV. You probably saw the original video where I also interviewed the owner of the dealership.
My name is Stacy. I'm the owner of Unlimited RV. Got my sidekick here today, Jason.
If you missed it, I'll put a link here. And here's what happened the day that video posted.
After that last video went up, it was that night he called me. I think I told you maybe the next day. He called me at 9:30 at night. And he's like, "Really, Darren?" That's how I answered the phone. I knew it was Stacy. And I just said, "Hello, this is Darren." And he goes, "Really, Darren?" And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "That's what you want to say?" And I'm like, "Tell me what I said that's wrong."
I'll have more on the dealer's response then and now later in this video.
I had kind of tried to wipe my hands a little bit of dealing with the local service department, but I still had a lot of issues that needed to be resolved. I started noticing bigger issues which really had some concern of mine. I had some wall separation of panels in the front corner of my rig. I had some delamination of the wall covering on 40% of my interior panels. I still had the broken shower that I had kind of fixed myself, but something that I wanted to be fixed back at the factory. My dishwasher had never worked from day one. I had a window where I noticed the screen kept popping off. The window was in cockeyed. There was a gap, about a 1/4 inch gap between the window screen and the window, so bugs could come and go as they pleased. I had put together a list of, I think it was about 18 things that I wanted to be addressed, so I made an appointment to drop off the rig in October in Topeka, Indiana at the Riverstone plant. And to get out there, I took a 2-week trip. On that trip, I ran into some more issues. It was the second time that I'd ever been using the rig while there was rain, and I found a big puddle of water in the bedroom. On the trip, I emailed Riverstone, and they said, "Yep, no problem, we will take care of that." One of the things that I think I've learned is, at least right now in the RV industry, the first owners are essentially quality check. I kind of tried to do a pre-delivery inspection. I didn't pay for one, I did one myself. I went through as many things as I could, and a lot of these issues didn't come up until the rig was actually used. So until I started pulling it down the road, the panels were fine. The appliances worked at the dealership. Once I pulled it once and actually tried to use the dishwasher, for example, it didn't make it through a full cycle. Another thing that I've learned is, even with warranties and even purchasing a brand new rig, unless you've purchased from a dealership that has a very good service department, you are going to be doing a lot of the work yourself. I purchased from some place that has some very poor quality and service department. An example of that is when I pulled into the Riverstone plant, as the director of parts, service, and warranty came out, I think he was still 50, 60 feet away from my rig, and he pointed out that the generator that I had installed by Unlimited RV didn't look right. He had his technicians look at it. We found out that Unlimited RV had installed the exhaust incorrectly. They had cut the hole in the wrong spot, had the exhaust ported to the wrong side of the rig. What was even more scary was they didn't properly secure the generator, the large several 100-pound generator, to the rig. It was just kind of sitting in there. There was essentially $400 that needed to be paid to the factory for them to properly secure and properly exhaust the generator. Another thing that we found out too while the rig was at Riverstone was the brake lines that Unlimited said needed to be replaced. Riverstone inspected those brake lines and deemed that those were not done properly. Luckily, that work was redone by Riverstone. I did push back to Stacy at Unlimited. You know, when I called him, I had to take a day to settle myself, because when I was calling him, I was about to tell him, like, you charged me, I think it was like $900 to install this generator. The work you did does not meet RVIA code. Now I'm going to have to spend $400 to fix the issue that you did. And there was a safety issue of the generator not being, properly secured to the rig. I told him he was paying that $400, and he did pay, which I thought was the right thing to do. I told him that the brake line work that was done incorrectly, and he said, yep, that's going to be a learning experience. We're talking about brakes on a 21,000 pound rig. It's not a learning experience. Like, if something goes wrong there, you know, thank God nothing went wrong. Everyone at Riverstone was class act. They thought prior to me dropping off the rig that maybe they'd be able to get everything done in a week. While we were doing the drop-off inspection, I was told that it would probably be closer to 2 to 3 weeks, which I told them was not a problem. I just wanted things done correctly. The other things that Unlimited, I guess, it wasn't that they messed up, they just never addressed, like the entry door. Every time I went into Unlimited, I showed them that the door was rubbing, that the door was delaminating. They didn't do anything about that. Right away at Riverstone, they said, yep, we've seen this, we know it's a problem, we're just going to replace it, and I got a brand new door. They replaced roughly 40% of the interior panels. When I picked it up, you would never have known that they had this place completely torn apart. It was spotless. It looked like it did on the showroom. It looked marvelous, and all the panels look good. I'm hoping that they stay that way. I've only towed the rig once back from Indiana to Kansas City, whereas before the rig had, I think, 4,000 miles on it when those panels started coming apart. Riverstone kind of thought that I just maybe got a bad patch of panels, but I had noticed when the rig was sitting at my property, the underbelly of the front of the rig was really sagging. When I dropped the rig off for the second appointment at Unlimited RV, there was a gentleman there. He stuck his head underneath and he goes, yep, that's completely normal. I did what I thought I needed to do. I asked an expert and I let it be. Unfortunately, coming home from Riverstone in early November, I was driving the 10 hours back. A fellow motorist came up alongside, got my attention, and yelled at me that I was dragging something.
Before we go any further, I want to thank RV Mattress by Brooklyn Bedding for sponsoring this video. I have been sleeping on a Brooklyn Bedding mattress for the last year and a half, and it has totally changed my life. Most of my adult life, I have been sleeping on the wrong mattress. I was sleeping on one that was too firm. Through Brooklyn Bedding, I learned that I actually need to sleep on a soft mattress based on my sleeping style and my body weight. A couple years ago, I had back surgery, so sleeping on the right mattress has become super important because I want to take care of my back. At 61 years old, I am proud to say that now I wake up pain-free. Besides having a good night's rest, what I really like about RV Mattress by Brooklyn Bedding is 10-year warranty, there's a 120-night sleep trial, and guess what? Free shipping. They'll ship right to you. Now, as a full-time RVer, I love that. They ship right to my door. It comes in a pretty big box, so you might want to get some help. It can be heavy. So you might need some help getting it out of the box and unrolling it, but it's really cool to watch it puff up. The mattresses are made for RVs, so they come in all different sizes like queen short and king short, and they also have bunk sizes. If you're watching this video before mid-February, Brooklyn Bedding is rolling out one of the year's most spectacular deals for President's Day, a whopping 30% off site-wide. Don't snooze on this chance to get better sleep. Thank you, RV Mattress by Brooklyn Bedding, for sponsoring this video. At any time, you can get 25% off by using my special link. You want to go to rvmattress.com/LizAmazing, enter in the code LizAmazing and get 25% off. And if you're watching this before mid-February, grab that deal of 30% off.
As quickly as I could, I pulled off to the side of Interstate, found out that the underbelly panel, which I had asked Unlimited about, had gotten torn off and was wrapped around the front axle. So kind of stranded out in the middle of nowhere. I had this big, probably 7 by 6 foot plastic panel wrapped around my front axle, insulation and wires hanging down from the underbelly. I pulled the plastic off from the axle the best I could, stuffed everything up. I found an RV dealer that was about 9 miles away, as luck would have it. They were not a Forest River dealer, but they were very helpful. They did everything that they could to help me out, just to help secure everything and get me back on the road so that I could make it home. Made it the rest of the way back to Kansas City. At that point, I worked with Riverstone, and they sent me all the parts that I needed. Insulation, solar barrier, the plastic panels. to do the repair work myself. We discovered that there is a 2x2 running from side to side on the RV, and that 2x2 is there for support for the panels to be screwed into. There's 5 screws that Riverstone uses to secure those panels, and only one of them hit the 2x2.
You were just at Riverstone. Why didn't they notice that?
I did inquire about that. I did say, hey, you guys were underneath the rig with the generator. Did you have to remove any of those panels? And they assured me that no, the panels weren't touched. Essentially, they didn't really look at the underside of the rig because there were no issues to the underside of the rig that I had at that point. Now, they did have to look at the brakes, which obviously are underneath, so I'm not sure why they didn't notice. I do admit even now, there is a little bit of a sag or bulge in them. So I'm going to guess that Riverstone just, didn't notice it. From now on, anytime I see something like that, I guarantee you I'm not going to take, the first answer. I'm going to dig, I'm going to look into it and take matters into my own hands. Riverstone said that they fixed the dishwasher. Unfortunately, on the drive home, the dishwasher started airing again. Dishwasher still, to this day, has not ever been run properly because they had to winterize the rig and put antifreeze in all the lines. While I was there, I wasn't able to test the dishwasher. I wish now that I would have forced the fact and actually tested the dishwasher. At that time, they probably fixed one error. They replaced a board in the dishwasher. I'm going to guess that the dishwasher has more than one issue. While at Riverstone, they also replaced some slide toppers. At least 3 slide toppers had some tears and misalignment of the covers. While I was picking up, it was cold and windy that day. Again, not a good excuse, but all I did was I popped my head out the entry door, saw the 2 that were directly over top of the door had been replaced. They looked good. I didn't check the 3rd one. When I got home, I noticed that one had not been replaced, so that one still has some issues. So right now, I have a couple of outstanding issues with Riverstone that they know that the issues need to be resolved. My understanding is that they will honor the warranty even if it's past 1 year.
Are you feeling disappointed? What's happening?
It's day to day. Some days I get so frustrated that it's just nonstop issues with this rig. I think there's some build quality issues, obviously, like the underbelly panels. There's some component quality issues with the appliances or the wall panels. I even reached out to Stacy, the owner of Unlimited RV, and asked if he would be interested in buying this rig back. Mostly because I didn't know what else they had done that would maybe cause a safety issue. The generator was obviously done incorrectly. The brakes were done incorrectly. The panel separation when I was at Riverstone, they asked me if I had ever dropped the rig because the panel separation looked like maybe it had been dropped. I know that it has never been dropped, not even a fraction of an inch. So I don't know if it had been dropped while at Unlimited. Either before I purchased it or one of the 2 times that it was there for service. And when I asked Stacy at Unlimited about buying it back, he said that would be something that I would have to discuss with Riverstone. I know Riverstone's not going to buy it back because I've looked into the lemon laws. I'm not having issues with the same thing. It's just a lot of different things. So I know I'm kind of stuck with it. I even looked into trade-in value and buying a different brand. There's some great brands that do have a higher quality build, such as Luxe. Unfortunately, as we all know, when you buy something new, that depreciation hits hard that first year. I've even thought, well, maybe RVing just isn't a hobby of mine that I want to keep going. I will say whenever I'm in this rig and whenever I'm on a trip, it's very enjoyable. At no point did I think that this rig would not have flaws. I did a lot of research beforehand. I was very confident that I was making the correct purchase with the brand of Forest River and Riverstone, higher quality. I had read great things on forums and Facebook groups, and unfortunately, I think there's some major quality issues. I've thought about this long and hard. Did I get myself into the situation that could have been avoided? And I don't know if I could. I mean, I read the reviews of Unlimited RV. They did have some very good reviews, but now in hindsight, when I go back and look at those reviews, they're all 5-star reviews of people that had just purchased. So they're coming off that purchase high. When I purchased this rig, Stacy had asked right away, to leave a review. And had I left a review on day 1, I probably would have left a 5-star review. Now knowing the hell that I've been through and the safety issues that they created, a 1-star review is too high. Go and make sure that the sales team feels legit there. They have a salesperson that they enjoy, that knows the product, is able to answer their questions. And then I would suggest maybe walking over to the service department, even just looking to see how long people have been there, or ask to say, hey, when I have service issues, who am I going to deal with, and how does that process work? How does the warranty process work? How quickly are things turned around here? I think that's about the only thing that you might be able to do to avoid a poor service department experience. An RV dealership and service department would be able to be first class all the way if they would just do some very minor changes. If you would just have someone, even if it's someone on the sales side that really knows the product, walk through and show everything is working, show how to use everything. I had to deal with that service department, and unfortunately that service department had a lot of wrong information and misled me, and then their service techs screwed up a lot of things and made some unsafe situations. Buying new or used, if someone were to buy this rig from me now, they would probably not have really any issues because I found all of those issues. But at the same time, the factory warranty is up or will be up soon, so they don't have that cushion. If I were to purchase again, I would either purchase from a company like Lux that has a smaller team and you purchase directly from them, or I would probably buy used, something that I would know hopefully has a lot of the issues shaken out. Where I think with companies like Lux, anyone who touches any of their products is trained by them, certified by them, and knows their product. Some of these RVs, hundreds of thousands of dollars for the quality that they're putting in, it's just so low, and it doesn't seem like it would be much to just make sure that screws hit a support, or that there's no leaks, or that all the appliances work, or that brake lines are run correctly.
I'm wondering, should I reach out to Stacy? What do you think Stacy's going to say about all this?
It's always good to have both sides of the story. I would never ever say don't reach out to him. I don't know if Stacy is interested in giving his side of the story. After that last video went up, it was that night he called me, and I'm like, tell me what I said that's wrong. And he's like, this is my business, this is my baby. And I'm like, I get it. You know, like, I am part of several small businesses. I understand when those bad reviews come across that it sucks. But I've also learned that when a bad review comes across, the first thing I do is I reach out and say, how can I make this better? And I make sure that I have some sort of plan put in place to make sure that that never happens again. And with Stacy, I left a bad review for him and I didn't hear from him. And it wasn't until you reached out to him that he all of a sudden said, yeah, no, I reached out to all the bad reviews. And I'm like, it's funny because it's been out there for 2 weeks, and it wasn't until 30 minutes after Liz called you that you wanted anything to do with me again.
Stacy's reaction to the initial video was fine. In fact, he texted me that it was good. This time around, he did not want to go on camera, and he sent this statement. Darren didn't agree to everything in the statement, so he actually has a rebuttal to Stacy's statement. And honestly, all this just goes to show and underline the importance of finding a good dealer. You want to work with a dealer that you like and that you trust, with a good service department before you buy an RV. I will be bringing you more updates in future videos, as well as interviews with good manufacturers and good dealers. If you found this video valuable, please like, subscribe, and share, and let me know any tips that I may have missed. As always, if RV life calls you, I hope you come out here and give it a try.